Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and we got some fantastic news here today. Here's a headline from CoinDesk. Aurum launches $1 billion tokenized fund for data center investments on XRP Ledger with Zonic. So I'll explain to you exactly what this is as we go through the video, but just know at the outset that this explicitly requires the usage of XRP. In order for this specific tokenized fund to exist, this $1 billion tokenized fund, XRP is required to create it and for it to transact on the XRP ledger. And considering the narrative from the typical toxic Bitcoin maximalist out there that, XRP, it's just the Dino coin, nobody uses it, nobody cares about it, nobody's using it for anything. Well, then how come new entities are building stuff on it today, literally right now? Is that what happens on the Dino coin chain where the stuff doesn't happen? Frickin' idiot sticks. Oh, I'd love to see this. And it's a see, I told you so. If the technology just works, then it just works. And think about it. This is, XRP is one of the first cryptocurrencies ever to be created, over a decade old, quite literally. And these companies chose the XRP ledger to do this on when there's no shortage of blockchains out there, mind you. There's tens of thousands of blockchains out there. This XRP, the XRP ledger, is the one that was selected out of tens of thousands of options to have this exist on. Think about that. And so in order for that to happen, it needed to be technologically sufficient, and also it's got to have an actual ecosystem. And that's why I've said many times too, although XRP of course isn't literally the first mover, so it doesn't have the first mover advantage, it has the advantage of being one of the first movers ever, which is to say one of the first cryptos ever. And as a result, it's become a standard of sorts. It is in place, and it is hard to supplant. And it really just works. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I'm not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so before giving you the very latest, I need to remind you of this because it's highly relevant. Here's a headline. I remember talking about this back in February. This story is from PR Newswire, so press release. February 23rd, 2024. Zonic and Ripple partner to bring multi-asset tokenization onto the XRP ledger. And so it is cool to see that, and it's so funny to me, the real-world asset narrative, that's one of the big narratives of 2024. That and AI, those would arguably, I think, be the two biggest narratives when it comes to the world of investing in crypto in 2024. And it's hilarious to me, at least the real world asset part is, because this is something that the XRP ledger has been capable of doing since inception. And so we in the community were talking about, this was being discussed before I even knew XRP existed. And so when I jumped into the community, I was like, oh, this is really cool. Look at all the stuff you can do, and you can tokenize this and that. Okay, cool. And now it's cool. Like it's cool in a broader sense in the world of crypto. Now it is. It just happened to blow up now in a positive way. And it just happens to be something that XRP Ledger has always been really good at here. And so you have this firm called Zonic, Z-O-N-I-Q-X, Zonic, which partnered with Ripple earlier this year. That's what this press release is. And I don't really need to read the press release. I just wanted to remind you this is something that happened because it's highly relevant. Zonic is a part of the brand new story too. And so what we knew was that Ripple was partnering with this firm Zonic, which basically they self-described as a pioneer in digital asset management. They announced that they were partnering with Ripple here, and basically to tokenize stuff. They specifically cite real-world assets, right? So they didn't get into the nuts and bolts of what the relationship is and why it's mutually beneficial. My speculation is that, okay, Zonic, this is just something that they wanted to do. Perhaps they even sought out Ripple, rather than the other way around. That would be my guess anyway. And Ripple is maybe doing nothing more than just helping advise from a technical perspective about how best to approach this. For all I know, that's what it is. And I could imagine Ripple being willing to do something like that because they want to help the XRP ecosystem. And it's not like that would cost them a whole lot to be able to do that. Certainly some manpower, but that's probably about it, presumably. And so I don't know if that's the nature, if they were ever planning to build something out further. If so, hadn't been announced, certainly up and even to this point, which is why my speculation was that it had more so to do with the technology. So now you have Ripple, again, partnered with Zonic, and then today you have the headline that Zonic, they're helping a firm launch a fund So that leads us to the story here, which reads as follows. Private equity firm Aurum Equity Partners said Tuesday it is launching a $1 billion tokenized equity and debt fund on the XRP Ledger network. The fund focuses on investments in data centers across the United States, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, India, and Europe, and it is claimed to be the world's first combined equity and debt tokenized fund, according to the press release. Okay, and I don't know that that particularly matters. They're the first of it's first of its kind, so they wanted to highlight that. But it's the first tokenized form of that, so that's why I was just kind of like, okay, cool, I guess. I don't know that it particularly matters, because really what's happening here is you're just seeing the types of things that would be built in legacy finance being built on top of blockchain rails now, which is cool to see. It was totally foreseeable. The community had already pretty well figured this out before I even knew XRP existed, and I jumped in 2017. And I was like, yep, this makes sense. Absolutely it does. This is what's coming. Why wouldn't you want this additional efficiency? Why wouldn't you want the immutability traits that blockchains have to offer? Why wouldn't you want those immutable records there? Were there certain circumstances where that's useful? And to not need a middleman, and it's live 24/7, 360. Like, there's so many benefits. Why wouldn't we do that? And then to any chain that ends up offering that, whatever native token is attached to that chain, it's obviously going to be good. So in terms of yet another thing, helping to ensure the long-term viability of a native crypto asset, in this case XRP, yup, here is one more thing, and it's getting built here in 2024 on the Dino chain, right? The Dino chain, they say, is a pejorative. Yeah, except for people find it useful, so they actually use it, which means XRP ain't going away. And so I know it's not a ton of XRP that is required to make it. That's the point, though, because XRP is so efficient for payments. But then, as institutions and individuals want to increasingly, as the years and decades pass, invest further and further into this particular asset class, might they be interested in XRP, since it's had staying power, been around for over a decade, functionally useful? Might that drive more investment in XRP specifically? I certainly speculate the answer will be proven to be yes. Over a span of years and decades, to a way that's going to be way more meaningful than anything we've even seen to this point. But, this asset class is so damn small, way less than 1% of humans have ever even owned XRP, even for a moment in time. Yeah, I mean, you're early. You're a little early. Okay, just saying. But that's good. If you weren't early, I mean, it gets to the point where by the time everybody agrees, it's like, well, where's the opportunity now? Because then all the money's in it. You're not going to get a crazy multiplier effect. You need to be in it before everybody across the board agrees it makes sense. And I think that's why so many of us find so much to do with crypto so appealing. And of course, there's a lot of vapor around, a bunch of crap that shouldn't exist, but let the market figure it out. That's perfectly fine. I like that people are trying stuff here. Right? Anyway, piece continues though. The fund leverages tech by San Francisco-based tokenization service provider Zonix to create security tokens of the underlying financial instruments. The issuance marks a milestone for XRP Ledger and development firm Ripple Labs' newfound ambition to claim a share of the booming real-world asset, or RWA, tokenization space. Institutional investors are increasingly placing traditional financial products like bonds, credit, and equity on blockchain rails in pursuit of operational efficiency gains, and speedier around-the-clock settlements. Folks, again, this is not rocket scientist. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand this story, to come to the realization that this made sense. People knew this, again, a decade ago. I can't say it enough here. I realized it from my earliest of days in the XRP community. Of course it's better. And even if somebody were to argue it's only a little bit better, why wouldn't you take it then? Now, I'd say it's more than a little bit better, but even if that, my God. And it's something that wasn't possible prior to this technology existing. It wasn't. You had a central point of failure, and you had centralization of whatever the offering is. This is better. This is different. And you do pick up the efficiencies. Of course it's better. And again, since the XRP Ledger has been around so damn long, it's not surprising, because if you're going to build something like this, having a track record, that actually does matter. I don't care if something were technically faster than the XRP Ledger if it's launched tomorrow. Do you think that firms like this would be more likely to build on that brand new thing or this, even if it had, to whatever degree, better technical attributes? Because frankly, at this point, you're splitting hairs. The XRP Ledger effectively settles in real time. 3 to 5 seconds, right, per ledger. 3 to 5 seconds. That's effectively real time. So even if you had something that settled between 1 to 2 seconds, at that point you are splitting hairs. The increase in quality of life going from 3 to 5 seconds to 1 to 2 seconds is so minuscule that it's not going to matter, and it's not going to be worth, risking building on something that doesn't have a proven technological track record. Which is why, again, XRP being among the first blockchains out there, XRP Ledger, that does matter, and that's so cool. And it is just not sufficiently appreciated. It is so undervalued, in my humble opinion at this point. That's why I'm excited about it. I wouldn't be about Bitcoin at this point. It's not like it's been neglected, that's for damn sure, but the XRP Ledger has. But people go and find out. That's how this stuff always works. When something is undervalued, eventually markets do figure it out, and then the money flows in. Anyway, Peace continues. The real-world asset market could grow to trillions of dollars over the next years. Various reports from McKinsey, BCG, 21 Shares, and Bernstein estimated. Ripple is also awaiting approval from New York state regulators to launch its US dollar stablecoin, which would play a key role to improve liquidity and support institutions to tokenize and settle financial assets on the XRP Ledger network, Ripple Labs president Monica Long said last week at the company's annual Swell conference. And so, folks, there you go yet again. Another thing that functionally matters, certainly increased total value locked, brings more attention to XRP and the XRP Ledger, and XRP itself is required for that to exist on the Ledger, and for every single transaction, literally, because that's how the code works. For anything transacting, anything that's tokenized on the XRP Ledger, because of the code, XRP is literally required for every single transaction. XRP ain't going away, folks. Very obviously, it is not going away. In fact, it's just getting more and more adopted. Here's a quote from David Schwartz. Tokenizing private equity is another emerging use case in RWA, tackling the challenges of illiquidity and limited access in these markets. By using XRP Ledger's ability to process transactions efficiently and securely, RM and Zonix are showing how real-world assets can be managed more effectively, harnessing a decentralized blockchain. End quote. Long story short, my friends, the best is yet ahead. There's a very bright future for XRP and the XRP Ledger because it just works. And of course, this is an improvement compared to the legacy financial system. It's just another thing, another story. But all of these things add up to ensure long-term viability. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.